Yeah, so look at that big old thunderhead just rolled in here. The wise thing for me to do is to wait and then try and get over, because you got to be careful with lightning. I am not going to be the tallest thing around with a thunderhead right over my head. And unfortunately, I don't think I have enough time. When I said I'd be home, I don't think I'd have enough time to wait for this and get up and over there. I could certainly do it, but I think it's the wisest decision for me to head back. Because otherwise, they'll end up calling, search and rescue and stuff, and I will have just been on my way home with wasted resources. There's a lot of reasons. I don't want to get struck by lightning, so I would have to wait, and I don't have enough time. So, goodbye, you beautiful thing. And I'll be heading out. Alright, just a little walk in the woods. No, it just got done raining, and now look at it. Look at it. You can't predict anything in Colorado. Anyways, after I shot the video, my phone was at like 20%. That's what I'm shooting this on. And right after, so there's a lot that I didn't record. There's a lot that happened. For one, I didn't want to get the phone wet, so it was like a torrential downpour. I got soaked, had to stop, sit under like a rock face and whatnot. But anyways, right after I got done filming, after I said that I was turning around, I saw two elk go up and over Fall Mountain. So, it isn't unsuccessful. I didn't do the crazy thing of climbing over that mountain, but I just didn't have an opening with the weather, and that's just the way it is. But now I have a better understanding of where the elk are. At least I know that they're here right now while it's hot, but they do get over that mountain, and that's what messed me up last year, is I couldn't make it over the mountain physically at all. So, but I just love being out here. This trip was particularly hard with the storm I got last night and everything, but it'll be good. It wasn't bad, So I'm walking and talking. I always wonder, I read an article. This guy wrote a book. I need to find his name. I'll put it in the description somewhere. But he studies the woods, studies the trees, and then says that they communicate somehow through like electrochemical signals and fungus and stuff in their roots. And that he's found that they give each other nutrients, especially if one falls. In my comment about the trees being friends, apparently that's a legitimate thing too. I'm gonna read the book, but it makes me wonder, like all these beetle killed, has our trail actually interrupted their ability to communicate? I gotta wonder. They ought to do a study on that, or a dirt road. They ought to study that. They ought to take a look into that. See exactly what that interrupts. Are we better off taking trails, or are we better off bushwhacking it? Anyways, I'll see you at the truck. I'm hearing a faint cow this direction, and I'm hearing bugling really faint, really faint that direction. That's really good. Maybe I can catch it on the video. I pissed off a squirrel. Sounds like it stopped. I better be quiet. Just taking a break at the Cirque Meadows. Yep. Last video before I get to the truck, I think, unless something comes up. All right, so now that I'm home and everything, just wanted to say a few things I couldn't really catch on the video, or maybe I forgot. So that day when I left was Saturday. I got up Friday morning and I was up all day, and then I worked Friday night, and then left after work Saturday morning. So at that point, at 1 in the afternoon Saturday, I'd been up for about 36 hours, and did all of that off of no sleep. And when you get up there, you got that kind of no sleep going on. You get up there in that kind of altitude, everything's kind of cloudy. All your thoughts, everything just seems a little off. So then I proceeded to hike, 6 miles to the lake, to the campsite, and had to build a shelter and everything. And that was pretty difficult. And the shelter was not complete. And so, to me, a lot of the what you can get out of all these videos was, when you're in a survival situation and you're not having all the stuff that you had when you say you go out skiing and stuff, you bring stuff with you. If you were in a true survival situation, you got a plane crash or something, you're really SOL, and there's nothing to fall back on, and you're just gonna have to have a lot of mental toughness to take and keep doing what you got to do. Because even that night, yeah, I had a little bit of a shelter, a little bit of bedding, but I didn't get much sleep. I had to keep that fire going a little bit throughout the night, so my sleep was real spotty. So by the time I get up in the morning, really it's been 2 whole days since I've had decent sleep, and then I had to keep pushing forward and whatnot. So had to find food, hadn't had any food, and not much water that whole time. I was peeing orange. So another thing I want to point out is that's also a good example is the fact that if you have only one item with you, a knife is really not that great. You can break up a rock, or when we used to have to cut string and stuff, sometimes if we didn't have a knife, we would just tighten that string around our finger and just take any rock and just rub it. You can cut stuff without a knife. It's hard to boil water. I got lucky and found a can. Now the fire I made that night, I did use the Voyager, and I hit the back of the blade with a rock. A really, really, really hard rock that I found out there. And I don't know if it was carbon that was in the blade, because they don't use that same stainless steel anymore, or if it was there was more carbon in the rock than maybe I had thought. So, but it did work, and I also couldn't display that. There was no light, could not use the camera at all really for it was just too dark. And I used tinder was just stuff from my sock, like the little fuzz balls from my sock. So it's not like I used natural materials for that. Everything was wet. So I got lucky, and I had a bunch of twigs. I made the shelter pretty much out of twigs, so I did have a bunch of that. So unfortunately I couldn't really display that, but that's what happened, just so you know. But other than that, it was a good experience, and you just got to know that if you're in a survival situation, there's just you're just going to be cold. Unless you walk upon some miraculous stuff, it's going to be tough. That night, the rain did come after I turned the camera off, and it did get to me a little bit. And then, yeah. Oh, another thing. Right after I got off of turned the phone off from looking at Comanche Peak, I did see a couple cow elk just going right over the ridge. So I wasn't a complete loss. I did see some elk, so I do know that they're probably going to be up and over that ridge, and I'll be able to get over it in a hunting trip. I'll have brought food. I will have brought a sleeping pad. I will have gotten sleep. So Anyways, it was a blast, and I hope you enjoyed it and maybe learn a little something from it. Have a good one.